Or okay, perfect. All right, so TransAmerica, it's a name we've all heard of. I'm not sure if everyone has written with them before, but today we're going to go and touch on their final expense product. So, has anyone yet? Hold on, before has anyone with Symmetry gotten started the contracting with Transamerica? Has it came across your way? Has anybody got a contract number, email, or anything like that yet?
I do.
Okay, you do. I seen Ron Shake said no. Uh, I'm sorry. I saw your mouth move, Miss Angela, but you're muted, so I couldn't hear you.
Not sure.
Not sure. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta check.
Okay. Yeah. Checking your emails. If you haven't got it yet, it should be coming down the pike soon. But either way, we're gonna just go ahead and go over that product real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and we're gonna go right into uh Transamerica. Once you get set up, you're going to have to do of course, an agent login. I'm minimizing the camera, so if somebody says something, just unmute yourself and just speak because I can't see if you raise a hand or anything like that. Um, oh wow, yeah, keep me looking. Okay, so once you log, you got to register first, and then once you do that, register your name, email, phone number. Then you have access. So the dashboard is pretty cool. Goes over if you have any pending policies or book of business. You can look at that real quickly. You can search policies. Include active policies and inactive policies. Um, Pending business. So if there's something you wrote but it's not quite approved yet, you can go check on it. Sales tools, of course, your final expense quote tool, which we'll be going over very quickly. E-apps are right there. If you need to get marketing material or run illustrations, it's all right there in sales tools. If you need forms like amendments or things like that, it's right there. And everything about your status, which I just got appointed with them, so that's all good. And if you want to learn certain things, of course there's always some self-training involved. So but let's go right into the book of business part. I'm sorry, sales tools. I'm going to go right into sales tools, and we are going to actually, I already did, I clicked on it. I ran a quick little quote. So they have a couple different products. They have their 10 pay solution, which is like if someone wants to kind of make like, payments for 10 years and then that's it. They don't want to, make payments forever. That's one. And then the immediate solution is like you're a healthy person who can get probably approved right on the spot or, pretty healthy. Easy solution is like your graded policy. It's like your graded or modified. So the premiums are going to be a little bit higher, things like that. Underwriting may be a little different also, or maybe easier because it just, just maybe just considered graded based on health stipulation. So for this example, I did age, I did a 60-year-old from Illinois. I did a female. They do have preferred non-tobacco, standard non-tobacco, preferred, so that's good, gives it some wiggle room. So again, unless the person is very unhealthy, if they seem to be you know, pretty healthy, you always want to try to get them approved for preferred if possible. Um, we're going to solve for premium amount. I don't know how much it's going to be, but let's go with a face amount of 15,000 with a monthly mode. I'm not going to do any accidental death benefit riders, but it does come with that, and it comes with grandchild riders too. So if they have grandchildren, they want to have riders ride along that, God forbid if something happened to the grandchildren, there's some coverage there. So here we go. You do that, you refresh the quote or click get the quote, and it pops up right here. So we see annual is 549, semi-annual 280, quarterly 141, and monthly 4725. Um, and does anybody have another quote up? We always want to kind of compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges. Let's see if we compare them price wise to say another carrier. Does anybody have like another carrier they can pull up real quick and maybe do a comparison? I always have my of Omaha app ready. But if anybody else has another carrier that they can pull up real quick, let's do a quick comparison.
Yeah, give me 1 minute. I'm doing it now.
All right. We did what was that, 60 years old? Let me see here.
60.
60-year-old female, um, Illinois, did what, 15,000 in coverage. Uh, no riders. Okay, so let's check this out. I'm at Mutual of Omaha, which is normally the go-to for, price wise, so to speak, but and their quote for her is $47.70. At the preferred rate, looks like TransAmerica is beating their price by, a couple quarters or something like that. So very comparable, very comparable in quote. So again, if you're running final expense, as soon as you get this carrier, you can go fire off, fire away.
Yeah, Forces is a 54.
Forces is 54. Okay.
American Amicable is a 56.
Darn.
Miracle is 60. Yeah.
Okay.
CBS preferred is at 59. So
we look like we got a new winner right now for
yeah,
this price point. But let me look up the standard. Let me compare the standard non-tobacco. That's the preferred. At standard, they're right back with the other guys. They're right in that ballpark, 57.33. So if they're healthy, uh, you know, go for the preferred. If they got some medical concerns, or then we'll go with that. So that's the quoting engine. Let's take a moment here and go back and let's look at the e-app. See what kind of questions are asked on that for this particular carrier. So let's go to iGo real quick. Let's see. I don't think I've ever had to log in this way. Let's see if it recognizes me. So I've never had to log in from. Anybody else had to log in to iGo this way?
no, I always go through the actual portal and then go in.
Let me see. Let me check this out. Yeah, e-apps. Interesting. Let's see. All right, looks like if I don't have, I need help logging in. I don't know what's going on there. So we might not be able to do that on this training because I don't want to waste too much time doing that. Maybe we can pick that up or another time. But I'll give them a call today and I'll get through this. But long story short, that is a very easy tools, easy way to stay on track of things. And very comparable with the pricing. So hopefully within the next 5 to 7 days, you'll get that email from TransAmerica. Like I said, well, Mighty got hers. I'm sure the other ones start trickling in soon. Any questions so far with this product? It's pretty simple. So it's not really nothing outside of the ordinary, pretty standard. If you want to get forms about it and brochures, you can always go to forums. You can find it. Um, what are we doing here? Service type is always new business. We're in the state of Illinois. Let's say the client is in the state of Illinois. Depending on where they live, you might need something for their state. This was a whole life. No, this is actually a final expense. Okay. And I think we're looking at, one of the versions of their solutions. So I think it was immediate solutions was the one we were looking at. So again, if you ever have to, the application itself is here. Oh, you know what? That might actually be cool to open up. That's what I wanted to. I wanted to see what questions they asked. So let's look at the paper version and see. Let's pull up for a second. Okay, can everybody see this still on my screen? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Let's look into it. Let's explore. First, middle, last name, social, date of birth, birth country, address, U.S. citizenship, country of citizenship, if they have other insurances in place, owner information, owner's relationship to proposed insured, beneficiaries information, secondary addressee. Do anybody unclear what that is? Secondary addressee? Is anybody unclear what that is, or anybody know what that is, or wants to know what that is? If you don't know, that's, let's say, for example, like a power of attorney. Like let's say like my dad, for example, he's going through early onset of dementia, right? So let's say, for example, if I was doing a policy for him, I would put myself as the second addressee. So if they had to send him notices of any sort or anything like that, they would also send it to me too. So if there's like a family member or caregiver or someone like that that works with the proposed insured or close to them, and maybe they, maybe they don't go to the mailbox every day, maybe they can't read, maybe they have a disability, it could be various things. So that second addressee is going to be that type of that individual. So that's
Also for like billing purposes. So if someone's behind on their policy, the second addressee would get it and notify them.
absolutely, yep. So that's the second addressee. Thanks, Wamadi, for adding that in there.
You're welcome.
We got product details, so that'll be just the name of the product, like immediate solutions, the coverage amount, their class that you're applying for, whether it's, if you need to adjust the premium amount. So if a policy cannot be issued as applied for, would you accept a rated policy if available? To save yourself a headache, I will click yes. If you put no, then you probably have to redo, everything if they're not approved. But let's say you go for immediate, but they qualify for easy, and for graded or something based on their medical history or something like that. Then they could just simply email you like, the person didn't qualify for immediate, they qualify for easy at this right. This will be their new adjusted premium, and then you just call the client, let them know, what happened, and just get a yes or no from them. And it's just it's a little bit easier. Additional riders, child and accidental death. Payment options are there. They do have Social Security billing. So in case let's go over that. That means if we click Social Security billing, that means if that's the day, like if they're a senior and they're on Social Security, and they want to get paid, they want to pay their policy, their premium on the day that their Social Security hits. Why is that good feature? Because so let's say they say, I get paid every third of the month, for example, but the third comes on a Saturday. And so let's say they, it doesn't hit their account till a Monday, but they already have other bills going out or different things happening. What this will do is it will trigger that the moment if Social Security hits on a Saturday, their premium, if it's the third, their premium's going out on that Saturday. So it's like one of the first things that gets done. So it's not like, oh, well, it happened and I got paid on Monday, but then I had to go and pay somebody this and pay this and pay that and go shopping and do this. So Social Security billing is really important if you want to make sure if the business stays on the books, or if your client is on Social Security income, or even Social Security disability income.
Hey, Nate, can I ask you a quick question? Just because these are seniors that we're, in this particular case, we're talking about seniors.
Yeah.
Is there, and I know we're not their financial counselor per se, right? But is there a threshold that you would cut off to say, look, like you shouldn't be spending more than X amount of your Social Security, right? Because this is fixed income. It might be their only income, right? Where they might say, hey, I'm willing to spend $100 some odd dollars. That could be 10% of their monthly Social Security. Do you ever like talk about that with a senior that's on a fixed income Social Security, is their only income, and now they want to go down this route and have, 10% of their money taken out?
I normally don't. I just simply ask, is that a number that you're comfortable with?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, then they say yeah.
Okay, all right.
Oh, can I say something?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Who was that? Somebody.
Oh, no, I was gonna second what you said too, Nate. I mean, folks are usually pretty good at letting you know like what they're comfortable with. And then also like just because, like they have their Social Security and they're on that fixed income, sometimes they have other income sources, or sometimes they have their kids giving them money too. So, like I found that with the folks, around that age, like they're pretty good at letting you know, oh, that's out of my budget, or nah, let's do that, so just, I guess just trust, what your client, like do what your client wants you to do, and if they say they're okay with it, then.
Yeah, and the reason why is you never you don't want to give a connotation over the phone, or even if you're face to face, you don't want to give body language either. Like if it's like $132 and you're like, "Ooh, it's 132," you don't know. Like one of my clients just recently, Nancy, she wanted the whole 40,000 from a mutual of Omaha policy, which was like 100 something for her age, and she was like, "Yep, that's the one I want." That's the one I want, with no hesitation. Like, so if I was like, oh, this is kind of, the coverage meant the most for her, and she had all kinds of Social Security, she had retirement income, she had pension income, she had all kinds of things going on. So it wasn't hurting her at all. She actually got an additional 30,000 like the next year. So I mean, so
Yeah.
hopefully that answers your question. Yeah.
Let me, if I can jump in,
Sure.
to answer that, Albert, from my experience, and like they just said, they don't normally do that. I have done it before. Regardless if they tell me, yeah, they're comfortable with doing it or whatever, things happen. So what you always want to make sure when you're doing, sometimes even with dealing with seniors, you have to fact find a lot because they're on a fixed income. So sometime next month, things may change. So what you always want to avoid is that putting it on the books, and then 2 months later or 3 months later, you get a charge back. So I always talk, when people say, oh yeah, I want the $140. Let's be realistic. If something happens, would $140 still be okay with coming out of your account? Now, if I talk them down and they say, no, let's do that, okay, cool. But I just want them to make sure, this is nothing that you're going to cancel in the next 2-3 months, down the line. Because $140 is a lot of money to some people. So I do talk them down at some point, but I mean, Red says sometimes I don't trust the fact what they tell me. I make sure I talk them down just to see.
I appreciate all that input, right? I mean, I don't think there's a wrong answer. I'm thinking about, look, I mean, I have a mom who is now technically a senior citizen, right? And from years back when I was a police explorer, my police explorer advisors were actually part of a team that specifically was there helping seniors from predatory people. And, and I, could we be seen in that way, right? Where like, we know we should not be putting some senior in a $500 a month policy when they got $1,000 a month income, because they may not be right. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what I'm saying, right? Like where do you start to,
Oh yeah.
We want to help them and
Yeah.
not doubt what they're saying. But I like, Ron, what you're saying, like, what is this really right for you down the line? So
Albert, if I could chime in, I like how everybody, gave really quickly what they do. I do ask what they are comfortable with, and I do exactly what Ron says. I reduce it just a little bit. Maybe, I guess it would depend on the amount that's already being offered, maybe the type of condition, things like that. You have to look at everything as a whole because you want to be able to help the person. You don't want to discourage them, but you also want to make it where it fits their budget so that in the future they were to have an issue and that not be able to pay it, it doesn't become a chargeback for you, but that they could still maintain their life insurance policy. I've always in the financial, final expense field, I always see them like they're my grandparents. I try to see them like they're my family. I, it's something that me and Nate always says since Dominance First was birthed, right? It was mission over commission. And you'll hear that throughout the industry. And some people don't go by that, but it's always mission over commission. It's what benefits them over what benefits your pocketbook, right? And we already know that since they're on a fixed income, we don't want to have them in the position of, do I pay this light bill or do I pay this medicine? Do I pay this life insurance policy or do I pay for this medicine that I really need? Like, you don't want them to think about, I don't need this life insurance policy, because they really do. You want to make it fit their budget. So I ask them what is within their budget. Also, building that rapport, getting to know them. You will find a lot of stuff by just listening to them. And then when you're writing this policy and understanding how to help them, you also know how to tailor to which company will best fit their budget, you know, to decrease what best fits their budget. It's always the mission over commission. So I always look at them like they're my grandparents. And that helps me to help them better. I don't know if that helps.
No, it helps. Look, I carry the same approach in my business, right, with real estate, right? I mean, I have to understand where reality is versus people's desire, right? Well, Marty, you could tell me you want a $500,000 house, and I'm gonna tell you your budget is not gonna fit a $500,000 house, right? We need to scale you down, right? Because if we really want to hit the target, then we have to scale it to where it matches reality, you know. So that's and I'm with you. Mission over commission any day.
That's the same approach. That's the same approach here.
Yeah, I gotta sleep at night.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we won't overcharge anybody something. I mean, that's just asking for a chargeback. That's not going to help you or the client or their family in any way possible. So yeah,
I'm gonna tell you, Chargeback City is not where you want to be hanging out.
Sure ain't. So let's get back into this app real quick. They do ask for height and weight. I see that. They do have some lifestyle questions here about cigarettes, hookah, marijuana. Let's go with the medical history. This is kind of the real bread and butter. So currently under the age of 18 with autism. Okay, so I guess you can go under 18. Autism, bipolar, schizophrenia. Prior to the age of 45 with heart failure or congestive heart failure. Currently hospitalized, bedridden, nursing home facility, requiring anesthesia. We know about that one. I see something here about blood pressure or sugar readings, administer medications, wounded care, feeding tube. Okay. AIDS, HIV questions, replacement of bone marrow, organ transplants. Oh, I'm going too fast. Are ever been diagnosed or been treated by a member of the medical hub for Alzheimer's, dementia, memory loss, mental incapacity, Lou Gehrig's, Huntington, sickle cell. These are some of their standard questions within 18 months, okay, or any terminal conditions. Diabetic coma, amputations, metastatic cancer, recurrent cancer, multiple cancers, or lymph node involvement. Have a 2-year look back for cancer, it looks like. Complying with treatment plans, other than routine screenings, hospitalizations, attempted suicide, incarcerate, okay. Convictions, medical history, okay, here's some more look backs. Prior to the age of 20 with diabetes, other than I can never say that word right. Gestational, is it gestational or gestational? How you say that? Gestational diabetes. I'm right here on
Gestational.
Gestational. I always say that wrong. I'm saying gestational. Okay. prior to age 26 with Crohn's, prior to age 45 with Parkinson's, coronary artery, peripheral, cerebral, okay, heart attack, TIAs, okay, bypass surgery, psoriasis, heart failure, Hep C, other than cancer, 4 years, okay. I mean, so it's kind of the same questions as before, maybe some different look back periods. But see, it's a lot of medical questions. Actually, it's like 3 pages already. Wheelchair, past 12 months. Looks like they're kind of asking the same questions another way, like they always do. Angina, chest pains, okay. If all answers are whoa, slow down there, buddy. If all questions in part 2 are answered no, proceed to part 3. If one question is part 2 is answered yes, you are potentially eligible for a graded benefit. So if any of the what's part 2? That's part 2. So any yeses and
Hey Nate, real quick. So y'all remember when I did this training a couple of weeks, well, about a month, 2 months ago? So back to that wheelchair thing. Back in the day, it used to be with them decline. So now it is graded. So you know how most companies.
we can't hear you. What
They
happened?
have there.
Okay.
Remember back in the day, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Wheelchair used to be graded. I mean, declining with that. Now they'll take a wheelchair and put it as graded.
Good.
So, but yeah, I don't know if y'all remember that, but a couple months ago when I trained on that. But yeah, just keep in mind. So anybody who's in a wheelchair, just make sure you can definitely put them in the graded policy. They don't have to get a knockout. It's not a knockout question for them.
And I'm sorry, this is with trans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Good to know. Very good to know. Okay.
Oxygen as well. Oxygen as well. So yeah, from age 18 to 85 with TransAmerica's oxygen is graded.
Nice.
What about if someone had a major organ transplant?
That I don't know. I don't know about the organ transplant. I could definitely. Well, I'm sure we can all find out.
Transplant was a condition in part 2, so that might be graded as well. I do remember seeing some about transplant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Implant.
I'm sorry, I'm on here with you guys on my phone, so everything looks really tiny.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You know what I'll do? I'll download this and email it to you all. That way you have it there.
Yeah. COP is still standard with them.
I'll do that later. Let's see. So then after that, it's all the disclosures and signatures of all parties involved. I'm hoping the e-app is a little better or smoother. We'll see.
Yeah, the e-app is a little bit more cleaner. It's just like Mutual's our pipeline. So it's a little bit more cleaner than this. This is like it just too long.
Yeah,
but
that medical question part is long.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, depending on when you're inputting it in, it'll knock out some of the other questions. So as you going forward, you don't have to deal with a lot of different stuff. So, but I'm sorry, man. I just TransAmerica is one that I studied a lot. So
and I like that. Like I got a final expense client coming up on June 8th. So I think I might use this one. I might use this one to go ahead and do that. Especially from what I hear, her health is all pretty good. Only thing she has is high blood pressure, so that should be an easy, immediate solution. Any other questions? That's TransAmerica final expense product for today. Any questions about anything we went over so far? How to do a quote, how to do the e-app. Once you do the e-app, you submit it and you pretty much call your underwriter the next day. I think one of the most frustrating parts of the business that you got to stay on these underwriters. I'm telling you, you got to stay on these underwriters because your case in some cases is a drop in a bucket. There's agents all over the country selling policies all every day. So you got to kind of stay on them. Call them a few times a week. Call them the next day or two after you submitted your policy until they, push it through. But if I see Miles moving, but I think you're muted.
Trans will give you a decision after you submit.
Okay, their immediate.
Their immediate decision. So yeah, so once you submit, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, they send you an email to say, hey, congratulations. They've been approved for preferred, or they didn't, so stuff like that. So yeah, back in the day, it used to take days for them to get back to you. Now it's pretty much simplified. It's hours or within minutes now. I wrote and people got decisions back in minutes.
That's good. That's good. I like that. Any other comments? Any other feedback? Anything else from the team? If not, I'll stop recording here.